What if the most powerful framework for understanding human behavior has been sitting right in front of us for thousands of years, and most modern psychology has completely overlooked it? That question is genuinely fascinating, and today we are going to dig into something that curious minds have been wrestling with for a very long time. How do faith, philosophy, wisdom traditions, and the science of psychology actually fit together? And more importantly, what does that mean for you, someone who wants to understand people, understand yourself, and keep growing? Welcome to Psychology Thinkers. If you love exploring the hidden forces that shape human behavior, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Psychology as a formal scientific discipline is actually pretty young. It emerged in the late 1800s, and in a very short amount of time, it produced an enormous body of knowledge about how human beings think, feel, and behave. That knowledge has been incredibly useful. Nobody reasonable would argue otherwise. But here is the fascinating part. The moment psychology became a formal science, it largely adopted a framework that treated human beings as if the spiritual and moral dimensions of their existence were simply irrelevant. The assumption baked into much of modern psychology is that you can fully understand a person without ever asking the deeper questions about meaning, virtue, purpose, and character. And for people who hold traditional values, who believe that human beings are more than just biological machines running behavioral programs, that assumption creates a really interesting tension worth exploring. Here is something that most people don't realize. Long before psychology became a formal science, people were already wrestling with some of those same questions that psychologists are asking today. Questions like, why do people do the things they do? Why do we struggle with inner conflict? What shapes our beliefs, our choices, and our character? And why do some people thrive while others seem stuck in destructive patterns? For many centuries, thinkers rooted in the Christian tradition explored these questions in great depth. They wrote about human nature, emotions, personal growth, character, purpose, and the challenges of living a meaningful life. The point is this: the study of human behavior did not suddenly begin when psychology became a university discipline. There is a long history of people carefully observing human nature and trying to understand what makes people think, feel, and act the ways they do. And that history contains insights that are still incredibly relevant today. Now, when modern secular psychology arrived on the scene, it created a genuinely interesting question for anyone who holds traditional values. What do we do with all of this knowledge? And the answer to that question is not as simple as you might think, because thoughtful people have landed in very different places. One of the most common approaches is what scholars call the integration model. The core idea here is compelling. Truth is truth, wherever you find it. If psychological research reveals something that is genuinely accurate about how human beings work, that knowledge is worth taking seriously and weaving together with a broader understanding of human nature rooted in wisdom and faith. The slogan associated with this approach is memorable. All truth is God's truth, and there is a real strength in that idea. It keeps you intellectually honest. It says, don't be afraid of the data. Don't dismiss research simply because it came from a secular institution. Take it seriously, evaluate it wisely, and integrate the genuine insights with a richer worldview. The challenge, though, is a subtle one. Integration can sometimes end up accepting the assumptions of secular psychology too uncritically. If you start with a secular framework and simply sprinkle wisdom on top, you may find that the deeper philosophical assumptions about what human beings are for never actually get examined, and those assumptions matter enormously. Many secular approaches focus primarily on helping people reduce suffering, improve well-being, and function more effectively. A wisdom-rooted perspective often asks an additional question. What kind of person is this individual becoming, and what is human life actually for? That distinction is not just philosophical wordplay. It changes everything about how you think about growth, about character, and about what it means to genuinely thrive. That brings us to a different way of approaching the same question. Some scholars call it the Christian psychology model, and honestly, it is one of the most intellectually exciting frameworks out there for anyone who loves thinking deeply about human nature. The core conviction here is that you cannot fully understand what human beings are without understanding what they were made for. We are not simply organisms seeking comfort and avoiding pain. We are thinking, feeling, choosing, meaning-seeking creatures with an inner life that points beyond the purely biological. This approach starts with a question that the integration model sometimes skips. What does it actually mean to live a fully human life? It looks to centuries of wisdom about human nature, character, purpose, and personal growth for answers. And then it examines the findings of modern psychology not as the ultimate authority, but as one valuable source of insight that can help us to better understand ourselves and others. And the implications for understanding human behavior are genuinely exciting. Research on gratitude, for example, one of the most robust areas of positive psychology, shows consistently that people who cultivate a practice of genuine thankfulness are significantly more psychologically healthy. That finding makes perfect sense from a traditional wisdom perspective. Human beings were shaped for gratitude, and when we live in alignment with that reality, we flourish. The research and the ancient wisdom are pointing in exactly the same direction. There is also a third approach worth knowing about, sometimes called biblical counseling, and its core strength is that it takes seriously the profound role that moral and spiritual formation plays in genuine psychological health. The insight here is important. A lot of modern psychology underestimates the degree to which our choices, our character, and our relationship with transcendent meaning actually shape our well-being. That is not a minor point. That is a major insight about human nature that traditional wisdom has been developing for millennia. Now, here is the big takeaway for you as someone who loves learning about human behavior. These different perspectives are not really in opposition to one another. They are each illuminating different facets of something genuinely complex. Human beings are physical creatures, which means biological and neurological research matters. We are social creatures, which means everything psychology has learned about relationships and attachment and communication is all relevant. And we are moral and spiritual creatures, which means that questions about character, virtue, meaning, and purpose are not simply add-ons. They are central to understanding why people do what they do. The most curious and well-rounded thinkers about human nature are the ones who refuse to settle for a partial picture. They want to understand the full complexity of what it means to be human. Think about what that means for how you understand the people around you. When someone is struggling, the surface-level behavioral explanation is rarely the complete story. Underneath the behavior is a set of beliefs, habits of thought, emotional patterns, and deeper questions about identity and meaning. Understanding people well requires you to look at all of those layers. And that is exactly what the best traditions of philosophy, psychology, and wisdom have always done. They have looked at the whole person, not just the symptoms. They have asked not only what is happening, but why, and what it means, and what genuine growth and flourishing actually looks like. That is the kind of thinking that changes how you see the world. It makes you more perceptive, more compassionate, and genuinely better at understanding both yourself and the people you care about. If you are curious about human behavior, personal growth, and understanding why people do what they do, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Here at Psychology Thinkers, we explore the hidden forces that shape our thoughts, emotions, decisions, and behaviors, both in ourselves and in others. And if you would like to go deeper, be sure to watch the playlist below, where you will learn how these hidden forces influence everyday life and why people make a lot more sense than they first appear.